All right.
Well, nope.
Alrighty. Hello, everyone. So I guess we can start.
Yep. I apologize. I didn't get a formal agenda out for this meeting. If you remember the last meeting, we had 4 or 5 bullet items, race prep, and a couple of other ancillary things, and we really had to spend the whole meeting on race prep. So I just assumed that that was going to be we just pick up that agenda again. The items other than the race, which I'm sure post race comments will come first, but we were talking about getting almost a social media call tree or publicity call tree where some of us would volunteer to be the point person on a number of different things. I mean, my wife has a what's that thing called? The Yardley something. It's an email blast or a website.
Mad Mini.
God,
It's the Yardley Mad Mini.
Yeah, there's
Is that what you're talking about?
for some reason that's not what's jumping to mind. But anyway, there's a service that Mary Beth keeps up. My wife Mary Beth keeps an eye on some things going on in the town through. And then we can make a list of those, including the newsletter that Paul just talked about, and 5 or 6 different things. And then my idea was that if we got up like a link and maybe a short blurb on everything that we want to do and publicize, if everybody takes one of the things and we take the exact same thing and post it everywhere, then effectively you could get a notice out, to everywhere where it needs to be, with everybody only having to do one step, and it would be a consistent message. That was the idea that we can talk about. Cornhole was on the agenda. Race prep, now post race, is on the agenda, and we were going to talk about the Do Yardley thing, where you could walk or run all the surface streets of Yardley, and talk about whether there are other steps we can do to get the word out on that. And again, Paul just had a pretty good idea. We might want to mention it in the newsletter just to let people know it's out there and let them know how to find the maps and all that stuff. But that was essentially the meeting.
Okay, so I guess we can start off with debriefing about the race. What worked, what didn't, and all that stuff first.
I don't really, nothing's jumping out that didn't work, but one thing that I mentioned to Ann during or right after or whatever it was, maybe it's after the mile, is we probably should consider buying cones as a rec board. I borrowed 64 cones for that race from the Bucks County Roadrunners, and we used every one of them.
Wow.
Thank you, Agvila, for the help on Main Street there. And without those, there was no way, I don't think, a good way to shuttle the people to the right as they were going across Afton. And we used them 2 years ago too when we had this mile. So it wasn't like we did it differently 2 years ago. We had the exact same cones 2 years ago. But and I can always continue to ask, but it's to a certain point they're probably going to say, you kind of need your own cones.
I think those are easy enough to get. I mean, so I would agree that's good to get.
Put down cones at the end to show where the race stopped. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Right before so I definitely think that is a great idea.
Great.
They're not cheap. I know that. And maybe Pat knows some people that where to get them, but I just poke around. I didn't think there's any real reason to buy new ones. But I found like a month ago, I think it was what I was saying, and there was 200 for $400, which sounds expensive, but that's cheap as can be for a cone. We just don't need 200.
How many did you borrow, Jenny?
How much storage space do we need for those?
Not very many. That had 64, and I would say there was 3 or 4 stacks.
Oh, okay.
In my garage, yeah.
How big are the cones?
Maybe down in the garage at the riverfront where.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them were taller. I don't know what they call them. Probably just short of knee height, and then others were shorter that were probably at the mid shin.
So maybe 2 18-inch and 12-inch like cones, just for people who want to like dig around on Amazon or whatever, maybe try to find some. I'm just wondering what to search for.
There's a website called Alibaba. I'm not sure if there's a limit on how many you have to buy, but that's a place to start.
Yeah, I would advocate maybe for the taller cones in case we want to try and use them for any kind of
I
if we
agree.
wanted to do like a bicycle
Yeah.
Sunday or block off a road, a taller one, especially if they have the ability to put, a plastic chain through or other, or you can
Yeah.
put. So we might want to think through and maybe talk with the police. I think you suggested that, Jimmy, to see if they had needs, or maybe we could sort of brainstorm what would be best for the borough. And then, come up with a spec and a budget or something.
I mean, I can continue to poke around, but I would suggest everyone poke around on Amazon, eBay. eBay is where I found those for like $2 a cone, which is crazy cheap. But again, 200 of them.
I'll
Uh-huh.
reach out to, and I'll reach out to Paula and ask her to maybe touch base with either the fire guys or the police and see if they have any need for any of those things that, and if so, what are the specs they need? So when we buy them, they fit theirs too. I'll do that before the next meeting, and anybody who has any time, if you just nose around on Alibaba or Amazon and just got a rough idea of what various types of cones cost, and we'll make a decision in the next meeting. We don't have anything between now and then, right?
Right.
Right.
No. I mean, really, the cones, although it's very specific to these races, I think we'll end up finding other needs or
Yeah,
other
yeah.
uses for them, certainly. Like I think, Ann, you said the Easter egg hunt, we could cone it off rather than,
Try to tie ropes to trees and
yeah.
Yeah.
put stakes in the ground. Yes.
And then, then we could potentially, although I guess it's wet and full of goose poop, maybe you could do something at Fitzgerald Field or something. Because there aren't trees there. Well, they're very young trees.
So that was that. I don't think I really remember anything negative about either one of them.
I heard very positive feedback.
So I guess I would say, we got some great feedback, both for both races. And I would have to say that I thought the change we made in the timer was a real positive. I
Yeah.
thought he really, every time you reached out to him, Jimmy, he was like really responsive. Not that our old timer wasn't, but I just felt like he really upped our game.
Mhm.
And, the app, mind blowing,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just huge positive, way better. And I mean, it just like thinking about how we could use that for a race like we have in the past, or we have people coming in droves to register same day, and how, if we have our app together, we could really like haul it in. If the weather's good and people decide, wake up and decide they want to run one of these races, hopefully we don't have to deal with COVID. I mean, obviously COVID was the big downer, but I thought, and I am a little concerned, like this metal thing is, taking on a life of its own, but overall, I thought, because we didn't have to do food, we didn't do, as many prizes. It seemed like it went pretty well. That's sort of how I saw it. And, the only negative that I think we should think about for next year is, I didn't touch base to make sure that we had some, we were supposed to have an EMT at both, and we only had it for the second race, and it really would have been good to have it at the first one, or at least a first aid kit, in those two locations. And Sue said that the farmer's market has 2 first aid kits. So, and she says they're full, Jimmy, versus I guess.
There might be a couple at least 1 or 2 in the rec room.
Yeah, so we could just make sure we pull that. And then I would say if people like, Steve, like in terms of just the description of what we do and what people do when. Like, I know a lot of you did additional stuff that wasn't sort of captured in that information that I sent out, like the volunteer tasks. So I know, like, Steve, yours was like, oh yeah, just get water, but like you got water, you got the baby pools, you got ice, you got, like, it just sort of, so if you could just note down on that sheet, like all those other things, and like Jimmy was like, yeah, who's going to put out the race markers, you know, so we could capture all the duties.
Just so we know for next
characterize
year,
them.
everything has to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there
okay.
is there a master? One of the last emails that came out that that summarized everybody's tasks that were officially assigned. If we can send that out to everybody, maybe in the next week, and anybody who did anything else that's not on that list, tack it into the email and copy me, and I'll put together an update of that original task list. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, and I also just thought of another positive. I really want to thank Pat A for certifying the course so that now we know where it starts and finishes. That's awesome. And the fact that he thought of, like, and got people to put those sprinklers out at the last minute,
Yeah.
really very helpful. So I really appreciated that.
Oh, they're also, you know, road runners, so they know how it feels to be out there.
Yeah.
And they were awesome.
Yeah, and that was a tough conditions.
There was one issue that I think we're going to need to think about before we jump off the race. I ended up just out of pure chance getting assigned the turn from Brown Street onto North Delaware Avenue, and that was fine. But what one of the two things happened that I think we want to think about. One of the race marshals who happened to be coming back from the next turn up, which was the one on that street that comes off the Scudder's Fall Bridge. What's that street?
Well, there's Brown. I mean,
Not
you were
Brown.
at Brown.
I was at Brown in North Delaware. That's
Robinson?
Woodside, right?
Oh.
Woodside that comes off North Delaware. He was a marshal, and when the person he thought was the last person, he just walked back as soon as he felt that the last person was through. What happened then, a lot of runners, like half the race, were still coming down the canal, and I had to turn back a dozen cars, and some of the people were really angry. So that they got stuck on River Road and they couldn't get through because the course was blocked between Brown and Town. And there were a ton of people on the street, so there's no way. Eventually, the Yardley cops came down, and that guy kind of had a police presence until, well after the race, to keep motorists from going through. I mean, people were like, there had to be a half dozen cars that were trying to K-turn and turn around. All he should have done is maybe use those cones and leave the cones across River Road until somebody gives them a call that the last runner has been through, or the cops tell them it's okay to open River Road. The road was effectively open before it should have been. Does that make sense? Yeah,
in between Woodside and Brown.
Yeah, and they were coming all the way down to Brown, and there was a stack of people angry they couldn't get through, and nobody told me about the race, and there were a whole bunch of people trying to get out Brown from that little. Unfortunately, they were boxed in that little neighborhood back there. There was no way that you could get out because.
No, they could have gone left. They could have gone, instead of trying to go towards the Yardley Inn, they could have gone the other way.
Well, technically, yeah, but wasn't that also closed at some point before the race?
Well, it was closed during the race, but by then most of the people would be on the canal.
Right.
So that's something we should just tell them.
And it might be an idea, and I'll volunteer to do this maybe next year, because the person who was the last, I was there, and there was somebody else with me that I don't remember if it was a cop or another marshal. We're trying to ask the lady if she was the last one. Well, asking the person in the race, who's probably not sure if they are or not, is probably not the greatest strategy. And maybe to have somebody, when the official starter leaves, ride a bike behind the last person. We know that they're through, and we know that there's nobody behind them.
We have done that in the past.
Yeah, I'll do that next year. I'd be glad to. Or I'll walk it behind her, or I'll run it.
Yeah, it was just, I think it was more of a resource issue, but that's a good point. We should definitely institute that and make sure.
It's the lady who was running. I think she showed up late for the race. Obviously, she was starting that late, but she had a response that I couldn't tell whether she meant, I don't know, or yes, I am the
Well,
last person.
So at
So-
9:10,
Mhm.
we stopped sending people down Brown Street. Because
Yeah, that was a great idea, by the way. Awesome.
that's, well, that came out of a previous debrief. So maybe there's a way that who's ever on the other end of Brown can, can confer with the two ends of Brown need to be able to communicate, like,
Yeah.
this is the last person that's coming through.
That worked okay because the person at the other end of Brown on the canal actually waved and said, nobody else is coming your way. So I
Yeah.
walked up and joined him for a while. So that worked fine. I think what we need to do is somehow get a cell phone on the person that's at Woodside and North Delaware and say,
That's
you make
a
the last-
policeman.
what's that?
That's a policeman. There's a policeman at Woodside and Delaware.
Well, the guy that was the marshal, and he was, again, somebody who was the guy, some guy who runs an insurance agency. I forget his name.
Oh, Peter.
Peter.
He was that guy. And he came down and told me he left because the last person came through. Well, I took it, maybe I misunderstood. I took it that he left and all of a sudden North Delaware Avenue was open because cars started coming down immediately after he left. And I was stopping them from continuing and people were still coming around the canal path down Brown back onto South Main or North Delaware. So somehow the last guy who has a road closure, and he didn't mention anything about any police officer being at that intersection.
No, not, so there was 7, you were on spot 3, then there's 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
7. So there's 4 other marshals on the other parts of North Delaware.
Right.
And I think it's important, maybe just as they've seen the last person go north on North Delaware, that if they do have a car, that they send the car towards Scudder's Fall Bridge.
Yeah.
And they can, slowly, by then it's probably pretty thinned out.
Yeah.
And that way they're not trying to get down to Brown Street where people are still on the closed road.
Which they were. So maybe just a cell phone call to that person saying, we've closed Brown, meaning they kept going down the canal. Once that happens, nobody's going on North Delaware anymore. So once that happens, then they can take the cones or whatever that's blocking North Delaware and let the traffic come through because there is not going to be any more traffic.
Yeah.
But literally, there was a dozen cars and several people were significantly angry that
Yeah.
they turn around.
Okay.
And who knows, you get somebody that's really belligerent, they could have just gone through and they're still, literally, there were people who were actually racing when cars were being turned away.
Yeah.
Not just last walkers or whatever. There were people still actively involved in the race.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, that's why we have people at those streets, but it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I would have made the same mistake. If the last runner came through it, I thought, oh, well, I'm done. Because frankly, I didn't know. I was trying to figure out how the last person was going to come through Brown and North Delaware until the person waved to me from the canal that nobody else was coming. I didn't know who the last person was.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are 2 good things. We'll try to make sure. Maybe, I mean, this year I didn't reach out to the high school because I wasn't really sure about how the high school volunteer corps, like how that would work, but maybe, in the past, we've usually had 2 high school students at each one of those spots. So it's good to know.
And the police officer that showed up at the very end of Brown and North Delaware did a great job. Once he showed up, everybody just turned around. Like they were like ready to challenge me. I was just a guy with a yellow,
Right.
vest on. But when the cops showed up,
Yeah.
you can do anything you want as long as you don't come through this intersection, and they were fine.
All right. That's good.
Yeah, I'll get that stuff out, and I'll reach out to Paula and about the cones, and if you want to just send down the old agenda, just to remind everybody to add any tasks that we're done ad hoc, and then we'll make sure it gets on next year's agenda. I'll coordinate that. Just make sure you remind everybody to copy me on the responses if you added anything that wasn't on the list.
Would it, if I made it a Google Doc, would people be able to get to that? Is that problem for anybody?
I think I have in the past updated your Google Docs, so I assume I can. But I mean, if somebody can't, they could just read it and say, add these 3 tests. I mean, it's not, you can,
Okay.
there's a workaround.
It's just easy to, it's just
Yeah.
easy to add to that,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah, let's try to do that.
Okay.
Anybody who can't, just send me your ads and I'll get one ad memo back to Ann.
Okay.
On cones, I just did a quick search on Amazon. Most of them are pretty expensive, like the ones that are 18, 24 inches high with reflective tape, which is the average one. You know, they're a few dollars a piece, like $4 to $6 a piece. I sent a link to Akvila. I did find 9-inch cones. I don't know if that would serve our purpose, but they come in 10 packs for $16. So, and I'll be honest with you, if there's an event going on and people know about it, I don't know that you need the high cones. You know what I mean? It's really just to guide people as opposed to like warn people something's going on. You know what I mean? Like if you're driving a car and they have something going on, they give you high cones so they're very visible. If you're in a race, you know, the cones are just kind of funneling people into areas and things like that. So I think the 9-inch cones, I think they would be fine. But anyway, I sent the link to Akvila if you think that would work. And I can do some searches in other places too and see what else I can find.
Yeah, I would say though, it'd be nice to have a cone that could work anything we need it to work. So if it's traffic or if it's a Easter egg hunt or whatever, we have the right cone. We have a cone.
So some combination of large and small cones would probably be good.
Yeah, I'll talk to where if he has a supplier, he knows anywhere that can get him a decent price.
I would say the timer said that he thought that the mile was a really cool race. And he said, you know, his suggestion was if you offered prize money, you would probably pull a lot more people in this race. I do know that we brought in, there was the Krails running company. I don't know if they were more the mile or the 5K. I saw more in the 5K,
Yeah.
but the Philly, the one Philadelphia running club.
The Greater Philadelphia Track Club.
Yeah, there was quite a few blue singlets at the mile. So
Not the 5K, but definitely the mile.
yeah, so it's, you know, obviously things cost money, but if you even dropped like $200 prize money, that's going to bring some young buck out, you know. Things that, and I think, I think Ann and I were talking about after at one point how people were, you know, we're short on the medals, and I can't believe people get so wrapped up on these little bitty cheesy medals. Unless they're kids can, but as adults, like, really, it's a little medal. What are you gonna do with it? But if it's a functional prize, like a Yeti tumbler that's branded with the race logo or something that's useful that you're just not gonna put on the shelf, as maybe just for the overall winners, would be kind of cool.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, one, you know, some of the, most of the people that won an award, and not most, but a lot of the people in the mile that won an award and that I've emailed to let them know, many of them are from at least an hour away. So, you know, they're interested in us sending it to them, and they like, can you send me a picture of what it is? And after I send that, I'm sure I'm just waiting for them to say, oh, that's all right, keep it.
Never
But
mind.
no, they want it. They want this little dinky medal with the red, white, and blue ribbon. So, you know, I'm sure it probably wouldn't even take much prize money to just get people to come. But the other thing I was thinking about, you know, just in terms of, I mean, this can be, you know, we could talk about it more at another time, but we did get emails saying that the price was right, but we also got emails from people that said, oh, you know, it's so expensive for a family. You should have a family rate. And
No, it's
and-
not.
and so I was thinking that maybe what we might want to do is test out maybe the idea of a group rate, which might appeal to running clubs or, and if people sign up, 5 people at the same time, they get $5 off each of their, but it can only be one credit card and, has to be at the same time or something, some way that, and maybe we could talk to the timer about that, like a way that they can do it as a group, but it's, and they can, so like that teacher or the woman that organized the kids from Eleanor Roosevelt, they could all, get together and form groups
Yeah, no kids.
and get a little bit off.
I think there should be.
I don't know how you could do it in one transaction other than someone footing it, but
Yeah.
I do know we can offer coupon codes that are unique to that running group and say, your coupon code is XYZ, and and you can set up to say it's only worth 10 times.
Yeah,
So they hand it out to their 10 runners or whatever amount that we agreed upon, and they use it or they don't use it, but it's a code out there that'll generate whatever price or whatever discount we give it.
yeah,
That's an option. And kind of along those lines, because we're talking about a lot of kids, is one comment I did have was I wish there was a little bit more granular age groups,
yeah,
younger age groups.
for those awards.
Yeah, especially the mile, because it's obviously a lot more doable for a 7-year-old than a 5K is. And if they are going to come out as a group, then you're probably going to bring, well, I don't know what age groups or ages she had, but they were all pretty young.
Yeah, yeah, and we go 0 to 14, so.
I mean, all of that means more prizes, which means more money, although those are donated. But also, we did pretty good in it with restrictions on number of people we could put in this race. I could see the mile next year being over maybe 300 people, and the 5K being back to where it was at 350 or maybe more.
A normal environment, I mean, non-COVID environment, kind of solve a lot of the prize distribution problems.
Solve a lot of what?
The prize distribution problems.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's around for
that-
20 minutes after the race, and you hand them all out, and then you.
Oh,
don't
yeah,
have to worry.
that'll definitely go away.
Okay.
But I think in terms of like Jimmy was talking about a prize to entice
Yeah, yeah. I understand.
registrations. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm that is a momentary complaint.
Okay.
That's a COVID related complaint. And then one other thing I thought of too was, I'm not sure. I don't know how we got to generally the first Sunday in June. But I'm wondering, just because of the heat, and we've had a couple of hot, I know 2017 was hot, this one was hot. I'm wondering, I don't know, Lisa and Jimmy, what races are out there. Could we move it, to the other side of Memorial Day? Something to consider.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll look. I do know that we used to compete with Run the Gates, but that's pretty much dissipated. We actually kind of, I think, cannibalized them a little bit. But on the other side, then I don't know of any one, but that doesn't mean there's not some out there.
Yeah.
Change.
Oh, did
I'll
we?
make sure I get all this stuff into like a list of ideas, and we'll get it out there and as an attachment to the agenda, and then, or the minutes, and we can talk about it. We have, 5-6 months before we really got to seriously plan for the next year, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking if we want to change the date, we want to put a marker down.
Okay.
And also to kind of go back to the funding of the prizes and things like that, race day registration, and I don't know if we charge differently in the years past of race day registration, but we should.
We have.
Okay, good, because that you can make a ton of money on race day if it's good weather.
But I still like that it all be registration online
Oh, definitely.
and not coming to fill out a form and pay cash. I mean,
Yeah.
raise the rate, but that online was such a huge help.
Yeah, it really was.
I agree. Yeah. Yep. And we can, just like those QR codes that Ann made in the flyers 2 years ago, we can simply just have that at the registration table, and they just on the table, and they scan it. We don't have to that's it. Just go straight to registration. They they can literally pay for it and then walk over and get their bib and walk away.
Yeah, I think we used to go up from 20 to 25, like, you know, a couple days before the race.
Okay. Which we
Yeah.
could, technically, you could probably go
Well,
30 easy on a race day.
Oh,
What's that, Lisa?
no, I said, you're right, we could. So I don't
Yeah.
think it, I think we had like 5 days out, we went up, but actual race day was no more than, there wasn't another jump race day registration.
Yeah, that's some
It's
good coin.
very, very, very hard to find a race that cheap anywhere.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Which entices people, absolutely.
That was one comment. I'm glad you didn't charge an arm and a leg. I'm like, wow, what races? I mean, we didn't charge you even a finger for this race.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, Jimmy, you get 5Ks, 40 start with, 45 second price, almost 50 sometimes, just for a 5K. So
Yeah,
we're
I mean,
good.
race day, I timed the event, a 6K cross country race that I've timed it 3 times now. And race day registration is $50 and people were paying it.
Yeah,
No,
people-
no t-shirts. But I know we want to keep this. We're not out to make a killing. We're not lining our pockets, but to do some of the things we want to do, just a $5 increase is pretty easy.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I mean, you know, I guess like we got that comment from that woman who, it was her first race ever. And, I mean, you know, I know it was the race that started my oldest son running. So I do have a fondness for keeping it affordable.
Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool the way people use it as jumping off point, all those walk to run folks and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes along with the whole feel of the borough, small, quaint, down home.
Family.
Yeah,
We don't charge an arm and a leg.
exactly.
Oh,
Put that on the website.
Doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to live here. You may not have all the amenities, but all right, I don't have anything more to say, or I do. We should, yeah.
Carol fell down.
Okay, so then the next thing on the agenda is cornhole. So,
I mean, it's whenever.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be warm, so of course the days are longer. I guess we still do it at Buttonwood, and I was almost saying let's do it at the tap room, but after a couple of council meetings ago and the whole issue with the tap room having too many people at a certain point, maybe it's not the perfect time to hang, you know.
That.
But maybe the tournament, maybe the postseason tournament.
I will try and see that. We have Paul, a close friend that actually works there. He's the distributor and he does the tours and everything. So I will reach out to him and ask maybe if we can do the tournament there just the last day. I'm sure they'll be excited.
So I did send, after I think the last meeting, Jimmy and Steve, the last contact we had from when we did the Easter egg hunt there, which was probably in 2018 or something like that. So I could share that again if that's helpful, but that's the property management company in, I think, New York.
Would that be the right person, or would it be?
Well, that's who gave us permission to use the property.
Okay.
They gave us the permission to use the field for the Easter egg hunt. So I
Okay.
could share that with you, I feel, and then you could see if that's, like, if your friend thinks that's a good contact or something.
Because the tap room has behind them their whole own field. So I think that's part of Jim Kane, who owns the tap room.
Yeah, but does he own the property? It's not leased
I'll
from
see.
the company that,
No, because they themselves have cornhole and tables out there set up too.
yeah,
When
I
you go
don't,
to the tap room, they have like the trash cans. There's that, it's like a little U-shaped field, and then they have their like trash cans over there. So when you go to the tap room, they have little standing barrels and cornhole and another set of games that you play. And then the other side is the side for the other companies, that own that whole building.
oh, so maybe, so you don't think.
But
that we
if it's
need
not
to-
Jim, I can.
Yeah, maybe we don't need permission. So you're thinking that that's owned separately and that they could probably give us the permission. Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well, let me know if you, I mean, I shared it with Steve and Jimmy, but I could dig it up again.
Okay, thank you.
And I think the only thing they asked of us was proof of, we had to give them a certificate of insurance,
Mhm.
which Peter gave, which Peter can give us, the insurance guy. So if we need that. Because sometimes a private landowner would want that to know if something happened to someone who was at our event, that the borough would cover the insurance.
Okay. Great. Anything else?
Yeah, Ann, you sent me something, I didn't see an attachment, but tonight,
So you gotta
Something-
click on the link, but I could probably click on the link and download the PDF.
oh, so what do you think? So Jimmy, the $3,900 showed up today
Okay.
from First Race, so I already got that in the bank. Tonight I wrote the check for the Porta Johns, for the T-shirts. I've got one for Steve. Steve, could I leave it at front desk at Borough Hall for you?
What's that, Carol?
Could I leave your check with Paula at Borough Hall?
Sure, or I can just get it from you at the next meeting. That's fine too.
Oh, all right. Well, I already wrote it out, so it's ready to go.
If you want to hold on to it, that's fine. I'll get it next month.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Carol.
So I think I've got everything I need.
So with that check from the mile, did they send an invoice so that you have what you need?
No, Jimmy, did they deduct their fee and give us the proceeds?
Yeah.
So we need to get,
So I don't have any details, no detail.
okay, so we need to get you those details. Jimmy,
Yeah,
do you
so
have
I can-
that for the first
Yeah.
one? Because I can send it. I didn't get that email for the first time, but I can send the,
I got an email from him regarding it was an invoice for the mile. And if you open it up, it has all the breakdowns. I can
Okay.
certainly,
All right,
Yeah.
I'll need a copy of that.
okay.
So that when I just do our whole spreadsheet chart of, all our expenses and what we took in and all. I
Yeah,
can break-
what he sent you is what he owed us. He's already been paid.
Okay, so if you have the first one and Ann gets me the second one, then we'll be good.
Okay.
And that cash box that I took, so we've sold $360 worth of T-shirts.
Nice.
So if there might be a few more sold this weekend, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we should try, yeah, if we could get some more 10s. There are a few left. And I guess the only question is if someone shows up that didn't claim it before.
Right, right.
But at this point, what's happening at Steve's house? Oh, you're on
Aliens.
twice, Steve.
Jeez.
That's scary. Yeah, so if somebody comes
Because
and,
Sue was still selling, Sue sold them while race was happening, so there's not a whole lot left out
Yeah.
of it.
yeah, and then I took a bunch and gave them to, I took like 5 or 6 like we always do and gave them to the police and thanks for their service.
Okay,
But I think if somebody's shows up and complains, you know, we could give them a $5 coupon off next year or something. I don't know, or we can give them whatever size we have, but
exactly, exactly.
I think
So
we
maybe
should
we shouldn't
try
be,
and sell 'em.
maybe we, depending on how many we have, we shouldn't be promoting sale on Saturday.
There's probably, I'd say there's probably like 15 to 18 left, I'd say. I don't know. I
Okay.
took 6. There's no more in extra large and there's no more large. So mostly medium, small, and
XL?
yeah, maybe just 1 XL, not a lot. So I don't think, I think if somebody wanted a shirt, they probably already either emailed me or reached out to us. I don't, and if someone makes a stink, I think we just offer them a coupon or something.
Good idea. I don't think anybody will, but that's a good backup plan.
Oh, actually, he just sent me the 5K invoice just now.
Yeah, that one I sent you the email. If you can just download
Oh, that's what you're
it.
talking about. Okay.
Yeah. But I could make a PDF of it and send it to Carol. What was the number for something?
Let's see, it's 4,300, I
Okay,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's about $8,000 between the two of them, just over 8.
Wow.
And like $3,000 worth of shirts
About
and
2,500 for the shirts.
2,500, okay.
Right, yeah, no more than 26.
Right, you're right. And then how those porta potties, they're expensive.
500.
And that was one thing I was wondering. I just always, when Jimmy and Lisa, you're gonna have to tell us, when do we go from we went from a no potty to a 1 potty to now a 2 potty. When do you go to how many people do you have to be to have a 3 potty race?
We spend how much on porta potties? $500 for the 2 of them?
Yes.
Yeah, we might be able to get a better deal. Who's our porta potty like vendor? What's their name?
United Site Services.
Okay,
Part of the reason they're so expensive is because we got the handicapped.
so they can't be.
Yeah, so we don't have that problem with somebody turning them over like they did one year. But maybe if we had 3 regular size, I don't know.
Or maybe one regular in between or something.
Yeah, I mean, with Pat's races, he has them out in Washington's Crossing. It's a park, so it's not as accessible as a walk through town. He's never had them turned over. His regular ones through a company called Royal Flush. So
That sounds familiar. We may have done that in the past.
yeah, 500 for 2 sounds super expensive.
I
Yeah.
think they have to go pretty far too. It would be good maybe to look at another vendor.
I think they're from North Jersey.
Oh, that's not that far. I mean, depending where they are, okay.
Let me look into that too.
The royal flush, okay.
Yeah, right. Fits, right?
Carl, I just sent you both PDFs of each invoice.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Jimmy.
Cool. Good for the audit.
For Cornhole, Steve, can you please open up on the website and put it up now? I think we should start advertising since it's only a month out for signups and everything.
Good call.
What day of the week were we doing it? I can't remember.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting after 4th of July. So that is on the 6th. July 6th will be the first date.
Did we do Tuesdays and Thursdays? I'm
I think so,
my-
Jimmy. Last
the
year,
reason, yeah, I'm saying, did we choose that for a reason? Because my boards are actually being repurposed for the Legion has a cornhole league on Thursday nights now.
Mhm.
That starts this week, and I think it's eight weeks or something.
Wow, there'll be some good players in town.
So, I mean, I'm planning on building another set specifically for the American Legion. That means I can take one of my existing sets away, but it's still, at least until those are built, my boards are being used on Thursday nights. So I don't know how many
We have
boards.
a board we have an extra.
So the last time we used as many as 5 boards, I think 5 sets, right, Steve?
5 sets, right? Yeah, because I had 2, you had 2.
And Paula had 1.
Is that what it was? Paul had 1. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm down to 1
And
set.
And
You're
we
down
used
to
every one of
no set.
those. So was Thursday, was there a reason behind Thursday? I just can't remember.
The reason it started last year is because Tuesday filled up so quick, we added the second day. And then we just kept the Tuesday and Thursday.
So could we do Tuesday,
Right.
Wednesday?
Do Tuesday, Wednesday.
Sure.
You want to go Monday, Friday, because that bucks in
Yeah.
people.
You want to do Tuesday, Wednesday for our thing?
Yeah, and then hopefully by then I'll have at least another one built, so I don't have to lug so many boards back and forth. But yeah, that's better because right now I don't have any boards available on Thursday.
Okay. Let's start shifting everything over then. I'll set up the website so it's Tuesday and Wednesday, starting on the same date, which is Tuesday, July 13th. And we'll just, every Thursday will just become a Wednesday, that's all.
Does it make sense to do 2 if the Legion's doing, I mean, do you think there'll be the same demand that there was last year? Because like last year, it was kind of like the only game in town. And life has definitely seemed to have changed. Do you think we would have the demand for 2 days?
Well, we can certainly prepare for it. I know that the people that are playing at the Legion are Legion members.
Not the
I know
same
that
group.
Whiskey Hill brought like a ton of people, Rocco and all those guys up there, and they're not Legion members. But at least I've never seen them there.
Okay, so that's good to know.
I mean, worst case scenario, it's just a Tuesday.
Yeah,
You want to play it like we did last year, start it with Tuesday, and then if we get overwhelming registration, we'll open up the Wednesday night or
That works.
like that again?
Yeah.
And I feel you mentioned a July 6th start date, and then Steve, you mentioned the July 13th. Is it one or the other?
I've got July 13th. I'm not sure why I have that. I feel like you have something different.
Maybe because the 4th week.
Yeah. We originally had it set up for the 6th and the 8th. And that's what the perm approved. I mean, I see we can start it on the 12th. That's not a problem. I can just change it with Wes.
Start it when? On the 13th?
On our last meeting, we had it on the 6th and
Yeah,
oh, and if there's an
I know we discussed the 6th. I
increased
thought
demand.
Because it was July 4th weekend, I thought we pushed it back to the 13th.
Is 13th Tuesday?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have it
Mhm.
ending with a round robin on Thursday, August 12th, which will become Wednesday, August 11th, or Tuesday, August 10th, if we're just doing Tuesdays.
That works.
Yeah, we
13th,
can
yeah.
do Tuesdays, and I can write on the permit if needed.
Okay,
If needed for high demand, we'll do. Yeah, I can just do that.
What is, I just realized Tuesday's rec board meeting. Maybe we skip
Oh
July
my
and
gosh.
August.
Just once a month.
Yeah. Okay. What time is it?
right now. Let's see. We don't have a time for it.
What time was it last time?
6:30.
It's on 6:30. Yeah, 6:30.
And we did it later in the year.
6
so
o'clock
we're
was
gonna
set up,
do
and
like
we
about-
started at 6:30.
Should we do it for 6:30 then?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
okay.
So what is the start date? What did we decide?
Okay, so 6:30.
13th, I believe, right? Tuesday the 13th.
Yes,
And it's just
the
going to be
13.
It's just going to be on Tuesdays, and if we get a lot of signups for Tuesday, we'll discuss spilling over into Wednesday.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Anything else for cornhole? Nope. And then the next thing was that Yardley walk discussion.
Step by step.
That's all I
Um,
have.
Well,
Yep.
you got the new maps, right, Steve?
Yes. Give me a second here. Let me get to this.
And the thing that I was thinking of too, if we could put some points of interest on those maps, like where the little libraries are, maybe the geocaches, although one of them is on River Road. If there's any historical cool points of interest in the borough, we could put those on the map too. So it's almost, not only is it just walking the entire place, but there's a little bit of points of interest and things to check out. Is that?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, what's the best way to get? I mean, I'm on the Harb, so there's a couple people affiliated with the Harb. Jerry Taylor is obviously a longtime resident and knows all the buildings fairly well and would know what points of interest are interesting. And his wife, I think, runs the historical society or something in Yardley. So between the two of them, I could probably get a pretty good list of points of interest along there. If you want me to reach out to him, I'd be glad to do that.
Yeah, that would, then we can just add those. I don't know if we put them on the map or if we just describe them when you download the map.
Yeah, I think let's just start off with a list of things with, addresses, and then people can find them on the map themselves.
Yeah, I know when there was Pokemon Go was a big thing, those stanchions on, I guess that's East Afton, they're on the street, the columns, they were in there, they have some kind of significance. And then the cupola at Buttonwood, but I don't know if that's on one of the streets. I guess that would be, I don't know. So there might be some things like that.
Yeah, let me see what they come up with as a list, and we can add at the next meeting. We can add as many as we want, and we can update the wherever this thing it gets posted for people to do it. We can always change it and add the points of interest.
Right, so it's on the website, right, Steve?
I'm sorry. I'm looking for an email from Jimmy with the new maps. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I have those or not, Jimmy.
Oh,
Can you resend the maps and whatever else you want on that page?
well,
No.
the points of interest or whatever, Joe was gonna grab some of that from Harp.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, send me whatever you want on that page, including the new maps. I don't have the copies of the new ones. I'm not sure why.
okay,
Here's-
I hope I didn't throw them away.
I think I was copied on that email. I'll see if I can find it with the new maps.
Yeah, because they wanted, I think we wanted to splice them a little bit differently. Plus, we wanted the rough mileage per set. Yeah, I got to look for it. I can't find it.
Hmm. I'm not seeing that.
Oh, I might have found it.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
Yep, I got them. All right, yeah, I'll send them
Got
to
it,
you.
Jimmy. I got it.
Oh, you found them?
Yep.
Okay.
And let me just re-forward it to myself, then I know I have them.
The names that actually should have numbers in them, like the flats 1.25, which is a mile and a quarter worth of walking.
Right. Okay. All right. I'll have to, it's going to take me a couple hours because I can go in Photoshop and do a bunch of alterations to it to make it work, but I'll get those on there.
Great.
All right.
So it sounds like that was
Okay.
a good article, right? Joe, that's what you were suggesting, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like Paula was asking us for an article for the newsletter from Parks and Rec, and I'll take a stab at one in the next couple of days. I think she had a mid-July deadline, so next week or so, I'll try to get one out to the group, and anybody wants to add anything, feel free to edit.
I'm gonna- Calvin. Hey, Elliot.
Well, Ann is putting out fires.
Yeah.
The one, this isn't on the agenda or whatever, but I did hear, or maybe I saw it on Facebook. Someone was saying, whatever happened to the bikes at the end of the parade? That used to be such a cool thing and all that. And I know that used to be a rec board thing, and then we kind of dropped it because of the mile, and there was very little interest. But I was thinking, if some of these people really want it, then maybe they could create some kind of ad hoc committee if that's doable. Parents, like parents do the parade, or parents do the prom for Pinsbury, then we get parents to be responsible for the bike thing at the end, because we're all busy with the Main Street Mile, and once we're done with that, we really don't want to have to manage a bunch of kids on bikes. I don't think, like an hour later.
Well, and it was very hard. It was mostly done with, a few volunteers and a lot of high school volunteers the last few years,
Yeah.
So that was another reason why. It is a great, fun thing to do. Yeah, I don't know.
That Facebook post was saying, who does that? And I was like, nope, I'm not chiming in.
You do. You can do that.
I'm not saying it's the rec board.
Yeah. It really is sweet. And we gave them, the coupons to
Ice house.
go to the ice house if they made it to the end. And, that was nice.
It was cute. People. just monitoring where those kids are biking and having people walk with them.
Because some of them, sometimes the parents were just as unruly with the kids as the kids walking.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's something we could actually even do or entertain. Would the borough allow that? Is there insurance reasons that you can't just have just any group take that on? And even if we do we want to give that up and not know or have any control over what they do and don't do? Or
Well, I mean, I think one thing, well, the first year that we didn't do it, the first year of the mile, we actually reached out to whoever, I guess they take turns, the legions, right, in organizing it,
oh, the
The
Legionnaires
Memorial-
did?
the Memorial Day parade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we reached out and said, hey, just FYI, we're doing this fundraising mile thing and our heads will explode if we have to do another event. So if you want, you should have somebody else organize it. And somebody did it because there were a lot of kids, but I guess I know I didn't proactively reach out to anybody and say, hey, we're not doing it again. So I don't know. And it's the organizers that I think would probably have to have the insurance and things like that, not,
But if a group of moms just said, hey, we want to do this, it's kind of unorganized. They can't really jump in the back of a parade.
yeah, I don't know, or maybe, we were able to get the honor society students to do it, so maybe we could just get, but Sue drove behind the fire truck so the kids wouldn't get too close to the fire truck, because there's a lot of stop and start. Yeah. I don't know, maybe we could.
And there was walkers too. Your sister walked one year.
Yeah, well, one year I had to recruit out of town volunteers. I think, yeah, I don't know, maybe we just need to find the right group in the borough to take it on.
Seems like the firehouse bikes would want to do something like that. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know them well enough.
I always say Mike is a really nice guy. A tremendously nice guy. I can't say enough nice things about him, but he is an independent business person. And there's a reason that he owns his own business.
Okay.
He's in charge of his own time. He lives, and organizing is not his strong suit.
Okay.
It's a great idea. It's a fun, local,
Yeah.
My parents' place down in the beach, they do that. They do decorate your bike and everybody rides behind the fire engine and it's super cool and everybody loves it for 4th of July.
Yeah.
This is Memorial Day. So it's a great concept. It's just who's going to manage it. That's the big deal. Do we want that back on with the mile? If the mile is going to increase in popularity, probably not.
I'd say whichever Legion is gonna do it next, let them know plenty early, we're not involved, and see if they want to reach out to get somebody to organize that.
Yeah,
If they want it.
maybe
Yeah,
one of the brownie
Girl Scouts,
or
Boy
Girl Scout
right.
troops. Yeah.
I'll tell Ted, the commander, because there's the Sons of American Legion, there's just members of the Legion, and there's the auxiliary members. So
And they're women's too, like the.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
the auxiliary, right?
I was
Yep.
at it.
Yeah, yeah. That would be, yeah, so it might be that we didn't, and because they alternate, we told the one year, I don't know who did it this year, we didn't reach out and say, hey, we're not doing it.
yeah, there was one kid at the end.
Yeah, and you do have to promote it because, it took a while after it stopped for a little while, it took it a while to get it back up again. And it also is weather, obviously dependent. But, well, the other thing we might want to, if the newsletter is, what did she say? She said, what months was that?
What does it cover?
Yeah, what months would it cover? It covered September, October, November. I don't know if we're gonna try and do another Halloween parade, talking about things we used to do and didn't do last year.
I didn't think we weren't.
Yeah, okay, so maybe we wanna, I think at the beginning of the year, we told Wes all the different dates, right? Because he was asking that, so maybe we could just pull up what date. Let me see if I have that, what we told Wes. So that would be another thing to put in that newsletter. Like step by step is the Halloween parade.
I guess so.
I don't know of anything else in those.
In the Cornhole League.
Oh, if we want to do another, January 13th. Oh, no, that was. Oh, we had a tentative date for the Halloween parade of October 30th at 11 a.m. No rain date. So I don't know if we want to include that in that article.
Sorry, what was that last one?
It was October 30th at 11. Is that what I just said? You know,
Yes.
you know how my
Yeah.
memory is no good. So that's the date we gave Wes in January. He asked us before we turned over new leadership. He asked us for all the events in January for 2021, and so we told him Halloween parade October 30th at 11 at Borough Hall.
So I'm sorry, getting this for the minutes. I mean, are we going to ask Borough if they still want us to do that, or are we suggesting that we will, or I don't.
I was just thinking if you were looking for things to include in that community center letter, since it covers September, October, and November.
Okay.
That might be something we want to include if we do want to continue to do it.
Pretty simple compared to those stuff we just got through.
Yeah, that's off down.
Yeah, and Joe, I could send you what I put in previous newsletters if you want to just
Sure, that'd be
okay.
great. And I'm sorry, are we stepping up for running that again, or so I should write the article as if we are, or is that something that has to be determined?
I think we're saying we're up for it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I agree.
We really just need a couple of adults, just need two or three rec board members. We did the story, one year we did the story time. It depends on how fancy we want to make it, but you just meet at Borough Hall. We have to arrange for a policeman to help us. We walk down to the light and then come back in Buttonwood and have either a little craft or.
Is the farmer market finished by then?
No, actually, I think they'll still be there.
Okay.
So so if we start at 11, yeah, maybe we might want to change the time, or maybe we could still end there. I don't know.
I'm sure Sue could figure out some combination to get people over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well, it starts at 11, but that's them decorating stuff in the rec room, right? And then they walk over about 30 minutes
Oh,
later. or
no.
not?
No, they walk.
usually we just start. So one year we did the decorating in the rec room because it rained, so we didn't have the parade. We just had it in the rec room.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They
But
just walk.
normally we just sort of meet in front of Borough Hall and parade down to the light and then come back. And it's usually very small kids for the most part, right?
Yeah, like 5 and under.
Yeah.
Because other older kids seem to be involved in activities. But
Well, if she wants to read again, I remember last time you couldn't hear her, but this time we'll have a speaker and a microphone, which worked awesome, by the way.
And if you could send me a copy of a previous newsletter post from the board, so I get an idea of, just what the format is, and I'll just update, the Halloween one, and I'll do a new one for the step-by-step.
great. I'd be happy to share that.
Okay. Anything else for today?
I don't know if this is even a priority for anybody else on the call. I mean, it seemed like a good idea a couple months ago. Maybe it's not necessary anymore, but we had a discussion about how we were going to get the word out on some event. I don't even remember what the event was, but we kind of came up with it. Or I suggested an idea that if we had some sort of like posting tree, like, I don't know how many people are on the rec board, but if everybody is responsible for one outlet, somebody for the newsletter, somebody from the Yardley patch was the one I couldn't remember earlier. And I know that my family has an account on that. So if we got like a short blurb and a website link or something that everybody posted to, maybe there's a Facebook page, maybe there's a newsletter, maybe there's the Yardley patch, maybe there's a couple other things, race outlets, rather than every time we have to publish something, everybody getting together and working out how you publish it. If you get a tree that 7 people all have one place, all we have to do is agree that here's the content, everybody press the button and it's out in 24 hours. If that's something that's an interesting idea, we should get volunteers to be responsible for each outlet. If it's not necessary and you want to do it ad hoc every time we publish something, that's fine too. It's whatever you want to do.
I think that's a pretty good idea. We don't have any official accounts though, do we? Like, we don't have an Instagram, we don't have a Facebook account.
Well, I mean, we use the town's Facebook. All I'm suggesting is that somebody who uses, I don't even have a Facebook account. I used to be a teacher. So they said, we'll shoot you if you get a Facebook account. So I never did. But somebody uses the Yardley Facebook account. So yeah, I mean, so if somebody wants to control West and just say, hey, West, post this,
Gotcha.
that would be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody who's not here, we'll nominate them to do that. And then everybody takes one, and then it gets out without having to worry about who's going to do which one every month. There's a tree that everybody,
Yeah, and everyone knows that it's getting done by somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like a shotgun thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we set up our own Facebook for the rec board? Where, because if people aren't interested necessarily in borough events, but they want to keep track of what's going on with us, like the things for kids and whatnot, can we set up our own account so that people can subscribe to that, get notifications just about our events?
So we do have that meetup account still, which we used a lot for events, and we still do. I didn't actually put the races on there because I didn't think we would even need to.
Yeah.
But like Walk to Run is there. When we used to have the twice a week yoga classes, that was up there. But we stopped those with COVID, and so that I don't think there was any issue with us having that account. It's just, and that was a way for people to find out about our events. But maybe that's not the best way now that you have like this website, and I don't know, maybe that,
Well, Facebook is still, I mean, to me anyway, as far as social media goes, Facebook is still number one. It's the one that, it's the main one that people go to find out, to get information. If we could do our own, I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, to start up an account that's just the Yardley's Parks and Rec, then somebody's got to manage that. I mean, if all we're doing is putting our agenda items when we want publicity into the Yardley Facebook page, isn't that easier than trying to run our own and keeping it updated? And
It is. The only problem is if people aren't interested in like all the borough happenings, but just want to focus on rec board, we would have our own page for them to go to and get notifications from. You know, like I would, if I was part of the borough, I would probably turn off notifications if I'm getting notified every 10 minutes about something new. But if I'm interested in the rec board happenings, I would keep those notifications on to find out what's going on.
yeah, maybe it might make sense to, I know that they talked about some kind of notification system, right? That they're trying to put together for the borough and trying to do it sort of based on interest. So I don't know, I mean, that's just borough. Obviously,
Yeah.
our stuff goes to a broader audience. But you know, maybe the first thing would be to put together that list of potential places that Joe talked about, like the patch. There's the patch. There's
the Yardley Borough newsletter, the Facebook page that exists for the town now, Meetup, and you know, the Yardley Borough has its own website too, right? So
yeah, I don't know how.
Or we could put that on next door.
next door is another one. I know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is next door for organizations or is that just for residents?
I think it's community.
Is it? Okay.
You can make an organization. For example, like there's a tennis group on there. Yeah, you can definitely make separate
Okay.
organizations.
Yeah, because on Nextdoor I joined a like a grilling group or something like that. So I guess this is similar.
Yes.
Why's that funny, Ann?
No, I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Let's get some grilling. I like that.
So, sweetie.
Yeah, I think the challenge with Facebook and anything where it's interactive is the interaction. Someone's going to say something and we got to be extremely careful about how we reply.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Uh-huh.
having spent, that was my new part job was responding to emails
God bless you, Ann.
Yeah.
for the races. We got more emails for the races than we've ever gotten by far. And
Not sure I've ever emailed a question to a race. Like the questions that we got. I mean,
anyway, it is a job. And I kept thinking, oh, I got to remember that Joe, I got to get Joe onto this. He's the secretary. Yeah, turn this over. But we do need to, I mean, during race time, I try to, because all the questions come there, but there are the other questions throughout the year. So it is worth, anybody can go on our Gmail account. Password is Lake Afton. So you can all go in there and see the emails if you want.
Well, Anne was quite the White House press secretary when it came to.
you did amazing. You were absolutely on top of it. And great.
Well, the one that killed me was yesterday. It was like the 16-year-old boy that said his mom signed him up for the race, and he wanted us to have his email address. And I almost said, "Tell your mom thanks for signing you up for the." I didn't though. I had to delete.
No, the greatest one was the girl who ran her first race and ran 39 something, and know if she got a medal, which was so great. That I really liked that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then there was the one asking us what the elevation profile is of the course,
Like,
and the terrain,
the terrain.
uh,
It's
and then,
like,
oh, I don't know, there just was some.
Tell them
really-
it's net zero.
yeah, I told him that we told him it starts and finishes the same place. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking next year of doing a FAQ, so.
Yeah, that's how I thought. Good
Good
idea.
And I'm gonna put the elevation in there.
46 feet.
Joe, I have a question for you. Before I redo the maps for the website for the step-by-step, would you want to do something with points of interest? Do those get incorporated into the maps? Like, should I wait and get,
Well, that's a possibility, but in the interest of time, Steve, I think, this is going to be something we're going to have do every year. Like, it's not like it's a one-time event.
oh, yeah,
It's going to
right.
be up almost constantly. So I would suggest that, the next update we get around to doing, whether it's 6 months from now or whatever, put the points on then. Let's just get it posted so it's out there.
Okay,
Write it up in a newsletter, and then as soon as I can get a list of interesting places in town, I'll just
Right.
provide it with addresses and let people find them themselves on the maps.
and then next year, if we want, we can incorporate it into the map or whatever. Okay, that makes sense.
Otherwise we'll just wait again and have post it when it's finished. But I don't think
Yeah.
it's worth waiting.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah.
So
You don't want to
in case-
recreate the map over and over again.
Right.
So I'd be happy to keep posting things to Meetup if you want, like, I'll volunteer on that one. And I mean, I could do Wes too, but anybody can do Wes. You just have to, he's pretty fast. You send him something and he pretty much posts on Facebook like immediately.
Is Wes is the Yardley Borough website, or is he Facebook?
He does the Facebook.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter who volunteers, but obviously, Ann, we don't want you being the one to volunteer for everything.
Yeah, so I'll do Meetup and then
All right.
let somebody else do Wes. And
Going once.
what's the name of that publication that's really slick with the families always on the front? They have events.
Yeah. I don't have Yardley something.
magazine thing that comes out.
Yeah, I always get it. I don't know who puts it out. All right. Well, I mean, I'll take the newsletter too, since I'm writing it anyway, and I'll take Patch. If somebody want to take responsibility for talking to Wes at Facebook, again, all you're doing is we're going to agree on a link if it's something to be published and a couple sentences announcing it. All the traffic is going to be driven to the link, and that's where all the details are. Nobody's like doing a massive article for any of these places. It's just the same 2 or 3 bullet blurb that goes to all places, and then all the
Right.
traffic is sent to the website or the link.
And I can take care of getting stuff to Wes for the Facebook. That's fine.
Okay. All right. I'll try to figure out what's up with the Yardley magazine. I'm not volunteering for that yet, but I'll figure out if they want contact information. That might be something that's only put out a couple times a year, and they might have long lead times and stuff like that. It looks pretty professional, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean,
Next
still-
door. What's next door? Does anybody want to step up?
Yeah, next door is just it's a very localized thing. It's like Facebook, but very localized. Like I belong to next door the flats, so it's my little 3-block area, and we can just talk locally about very local things that are going on. But then you can also address the a little bit broader area and a much broader area.
Okay,
It's
but is
kinda like a
there
localized thing.
next door for Yardley? I mean, you don't want to be managing a network of 15 next
No,
door.
although part of my section of next door also includes a portion of Trenton. I'm not sure why that is.
Yeah, so
Sheila, are you on there?
like that. That's a candidate. That would be too difficult for
Yep.
to coordinate.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
I'll
so
tell you what, though, it's worth looking into to see if there's something we can make work. I don't know if it's more trouble than it's worth,
I mean, I think someone who's really good at this is Sue, because she does all that stuff for the farmers market. So maybe we could
Yeah,
revisit this
All right.
and then get Caroline to sort of give us input on what this new thing that they're trying to do with the borough email too. but at least for
Okay.
now. So Steve, when you get the stuff ready for the cornhole, you'll let everybody know, and then I could take that and put it on Meetup.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
All right, and I'll summarize just who's volunteered for what so far and what the other things we're chasing down as far as the list, and we can just flesh it out at the next meeting. It's not necessary we take care of it tonight.
Right.
I think that was all I could think
All
of.
right, anything else for today? Nothing else.
That's all I have.
Good.
all I
Okay,
got.
All right, so just so I have Jimmy and Akdile from 9 to 10:30 at the farmer's market, and then Joe and Carol Such on 10:30 to noon. Does that still work for everybody?
I thought I was on. Am I on somewhere?
Yeah, Carol, oh, you're Schultz, I should have said it. It says
Oh,
Schultz
okay.
right in front of me, but I said Such. Yes,
what's the
Joe-
date on that, Ann? I'm sorry, I lost the note on
that's this Saturday. Are you available to do that?
that. Yes, I should be.
Okay, so from 10:30 to noon.
And tell us what we're doing.
You're just gonna be, I'll try and have it all sorted out, but you'll just be giving out the awards. People will come up and tell you they've been emailed, and I'll probably send out an email reminder. And you're just giving them awards. And I did mention, I know the first place winner for the 5K will not be able to make it. But if you could get a picture with any of those winners, like with Lisa, because she's going to come down and get her award. She won her age group. That would be great. I
Okay.
don't know, just people, we just need to sort of check that they've picked it up. And then at the end, I'll come back and, you know, we did get, I don't remember whose idea it was, Lisa or Jimmy, whatever, genius, to get Chip and Print to be a sponsor, because they said they would pay for the shipping to people that don't show up. And if they're local, I may just reach back out and let them know that they could pick it up from Paula at Borough Hall. But anyway,
What time do you have me down?
I have you 9 to 10:30.
Okay,
with me.
awesome.
Should be fun.
Yeah, we're dealing with happy people.
Yeah, and Carol, can we rely, can either you put a money box in the,
No, when I go down Friday evening and put out those no park signs, so I'll put the box back in there with a few tens change.
in the leftover shirts, and then you can take it back because you're at the end.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
You want me to try to find a prize for that girl who ran the 39-minute 5K, so she gets something?
That's-
I think she feels good.
you get a
That's-
autograph,
That's a
a
pretty
picture with-
easily improvable personal best.
yeah, give him one of my cards.
Yeah, we could all use that. All
Yes, we could.
right, well, let me know if something changes. Life's like that these days.
All right.
All right. Thanks,
Don't
everyone.
forget, our next meeting is in person.
Yeah,
Yay.
We'll see each
Awesome.
other.
All right.
All right,
All right, good night, folks.
thanks,
Right.
Avila.
Go
a good
Sixers.
one.
Nice.
Bye.
Hi, sorry about that. I was just closing up a meeting. Hold on a sec.